Kia ora, Morena. Good morning and welcome to another ALGIM webinar. Today's topic is improving the citizen digital experience, and we have a great team lined up to talk to us today. But before we do, if you do have any questions, please pop them into our questions area. You'll see the tab there, and I will ask the panel at the end of the webinar those questions on your behalf. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome our team today. So we have Kerry Han, Product Manager for Squiz. Now, Kerry has been improving customer experiences for more than a decade, working in solution architecture, delivering integration strategies and implementations for large organizations. As a Product Manager for Data, Analytics and Integrations at Squiz, Kerry is an integration specialist focused on solutions that allow councils to leverage their existing technologies with the Squiz DXP to deliver that great customer experiences online. So a big welcome to Kerry. Next joining us is Sean Wallace. He's the Director of Product and Partnerships for Flowingly. Now, Sean has an extensive background across solution implementation and the product. Sean has a proven track record in delivering transformation experiences and process automation for both local government and private entities. So welcome, Sean. And finally, we have Mary Claire Russell. She's the Global Head of Field Marketing for Squiz. Now, Mary Claire has over 17 years of working in global marketing and customer experience roles, servicing both the private and public sector customers. Now, as a marketer, she has led digital transformation projects across a number of organizations and has experienced both the challenges and the benefits that are faced not only by the end user, but by the internal teams. So it gives me great pleasure this morning to welcome our team, and I'll now pass over to Mary Claire. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Hello and welcome, everyone. So let's get started. So just introducing us, we're Squiz. Let you know who we are before we go, take you through some interesting research that we have. Squiz is Gartner ranked global digital experience company, and we help complex service level organizations with lean teams like yours to build brilliant digital experience fast. We've been doing it for over 25 years. We're uniquely both a tech company with a digital experience platform, but also a partner that offers creative UX, UI and web development services. Originally founded in Australia, but fast followed by New Zealand, we work with over 230 public sectors agencies globally, including Europe, US, and just some of the organisations that we currently work with can be seen on this slide. As mentioned, 230 of these are government organisations and 540 globally, including quite a few here in New Zealand. So, you know, Squiz's mission is to create services online that improve services offline. But why do we do that? Well, digital experiences are hard enough to run within more straightforward sectors like retail and e-commerce. Government typically operate in decentralised models, meaning content isn't regulated across channels. And we lean into service-based sectors because we want to change, because we want to be able to help, and we believe that your role in the advancement of society is very beneficial for that. So what actually is a digital experience platform? Some of you may know, some of you may not, or, you know, for short, DXP. So Squiz and our digital experience platform help you build, manage and orchestrate digital customer experiences, you know, with websites, portals, intranet, social apps and more from one place. It's a DXP empowers organisations to efficiently create and optimise experiences across their digital touchpoints versus managing on its own. It unifies your content management, your site search, your insights, your customer data, and in an open ecosystem of integrations in this single platform. It makes it easier for teams managing different parts of your customer or citizen lifecycle to collaborate and align on customer experience. So I'm just going to hand over quickly to Sean for a quick intro to Flowingly.
Thanks, MC. Before I jump into it, I have a plasterboard wall in the background, which is why that looks a bit weird. It's not my own interior design choices. We are renovating at the moment. But in terms of Flowingly, look, Flowingly is it's a business process mapping and automation platform designed to help IT and business teams meet the growing needs of growing demands of faster transformation in council. We're 100% no code, meaning that Flowingly is often used by customer service teams, HR, operations, marketing as well. So it fits really well alongside Squiz in that regard. And the idea is that they can work alongside your IT teams to deliver automated processes at scale. And when I say scale, what I mean by that is, the average Flowingly customer is automating about 23 processes per year using Flowingly, with minimal FTE, less than half an FTE working on the project. We're Kiwi based, or Kiwi founded actually, and most of our leadership and support team or services team works here in New Zealand. 70% of our customer base sits across Australia and New Zealand, but we have about 120,000 people around the globe, both mapping and automating their processes using Flowingly. In New Zealand, you can see some of the logos on the screen here. So we work with councils such as Upper Hutt, Centro Otago, Matamata Piako, and even the ALGIM team recently started using Flowingly as well. Process automation, it's a pretty broad term and covers a lot of areas, but when we're talking about it, like typically, what we say is with Flowingly, anyone in the organization from IT to customer service teams can build automation using forms, workflows, and task management, which is the key things for council, to create better customer experiences and employee experiences, which we're going to be talking about today, and mainly at scale using no code. So the ability to use no code, drag and drop using Flowingly means you can build these kind of experiences in about, from 30 minutes to about 4 hours or so. And specifically what we're going to be looking at today is the main way that councils benefit from something like Flowingly is it allows them to get their teams out of their inbox for managing tasks. So I constantly hear from councils where they're saying, look, our teams are losing requests, they're spending ages, wasting time searching for email threads, and just struggling to track the process once they hand something off to someone else, and that's what we're going to look at today. Cool, thanks, MC.
So what we're just going to take you through is some research that we've been through when we've spoken to many government organisations globally. So the state of digital experiences, complexity really has created a gap. So really, what does great digital citizen experience look like? As you can see from this DCG survey, 90% of citizens' expectations of their experience review is up there with the tech giants such as Amazon, Google, Facebook, as well as some of the best private sector companies such as your telcos and finance. Great experience isn't a benefit anymore, it's an expectation. But in actual terms, what does a great citizen experience look like? It means proactively offering full scope of services online, improving the quality, efficiency and accessibility of digital services, and creating a seamless, consistent omni-channel experience. I'm actually going through a major renovation in my home right now, and my experience was very different depending on, when I was paying for the fees that had to go to my local council, depending on which part of the application, all the same application that I was going through. One fee I could pay online, and one fee I had to go down to the council's office and pay in person. It's all part of the same application, and for me as a citizen, it just didn't make any sense. As a citizen at that time, I didn't really have any interest what tech they were using or process they were going through. I just expected the process to make sense to me and not, impact my life too much. I just thought it was ludicrous that you had to, it was literally the same application, but I had a very, very different experience. And this leads me to my next example. So digital experiences have become more complex. So what do we mean? 24/7 multi-channel engagement. This is an example on the left around Timaru's council's chat box. Complexity is not only the channels, but it's also the integrations across many systems and data sources. Experiences are required to have highly accessible designs and efficient personalized self-service, but all whilst managing and analysing and reporting on consultations and community engagements. So over the years, this diagram alone demonstrates just how much more complex things have become. If you look on the left from your CMS, on one side to on the right, multi-channel and platforms. This illustration shows you have lots of connections to lots of different channels that you need to deal with to create this unified experience. And doing our research, we know that many of your peers are not feeling like they're progressing on their priorities in this complex environment. And this is causing what we call a digital aspiration gap. Look, dealing with technology is never necessarily as easy as promised. We live in an imperfect world. It could be systems, people, time, resources, and competing priorities. We spoke to global organisations globally, and the feedback that has come to us is consistent that digital in practice is tremendously hard. We've all been conditioned to the idea that buying one piece of tech solves all the problems. You'll pitch seamless experiences and the ability to maximise potential. But when you actually get to use the tech or try and experience the benefits promised, most of the time you don't get there, leading to incredible frustration for both your citizens and your staff and yourself. And a lot of the time that's because a lot of these systems are built for e-commerce or retail use cases, not complex service-driven organisations like yourselves. We're just going to run a quick poll to see what sort of barriers you're facing in your organisation and if they're same with what we're working with. So what are the barriers to holding you and your councils back from achieving your digital priorities? If you select one or more of the following and then press submit. Just give you another minute or so. And I think that should be everyone on there. So we're able to go back to the presentation. That's fantastic, thank you. Okay, so we've run this similar survey across a wide range of government organisations globally, and the results have been consistent. The top barriers holding you back tend to be legacy or inflexible tech, system silos, developer over-reliance, and governance. Gartner's research also confirmed this. We can see the top objectives are improving user experience, operational efficiency, and improving outcomes linked to a public purpose. The challenge is something I'm sure that none of you are a stranger to. Silos, resistant to change, insufficient funding, lean teams. This all points to multiple stakeholders and not just your citizens. The objectives and challenges point to multiple internal stakeholders such as your internal team, the leadership, executive experience, and not just your citizens at all, including also your councillors. This all comes down to the fact that great digital experiences, when they work for everyone, not just your citizens, but your team, your executive leadership, and your councils all work together. So now I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Carrie, who will take you through Squiz and Flowingly working together.
Thanks, very clear. Hello, everyone. I'm delighted to be here with you today to introduce a dynamic fusion of Squiz DXP and Flowingly. So in this section, we'll take you on a journey through the impressive technology landscape of Squiz Digital Experience Platform and Flowingly. They are purposely designed and seamlessly integrated to address the challenges that have covered in the previous part. We will dive into how this integration empowers you to deliver exceptional online customer service experiences, accelerate the automation of processes related to building experience the customer expects, without adding a strain on your employees. So first of all, let's examine the current situation. The standard experience typically involves a manual and potentially frustrating process. As a user, you fill out a form online and the request goes to an inbox with no traceability. You receive no response. You are left waiting for a follow-up, which may never come. In some cases, you might even need to visit the office in person to chase or resubmit your request. And furthermore, the challenge has been making brilliant multi-channel digital experiences work requires internal teams to work through disjointed manual workflows. So everything takes too long and it's too hard to manage, especially for lean teams. Things has to change. So how this can be improved? Let's just pick this user journey as an example. Our citizens want to interact seamlessly with waste management services while helping the environment. Here is how it works. A user visits the local council's website to complete a waste request form. The user submits the form. Upon form submission, an integration flow is triggered to initiate the process within Flowingly. Depending on the category of submission, the request is forwarded to the appropriate bin supplier. So we will use this straightforward use case as an illustration to showcase the Squiz DXP and the Flowingly capabilities which deliver this end-to-end user experience. As you may know, Squiz DXP is made up of 9 core capabilities you need to build brilliant experiences fast. You can come as you are with our DXP by bringing and integrating your current tech solutions. Everything works as one. Today, I'll simply delve into 2 capabilities that enhance the user experience of the user journey we just talked about. The first is in the middle and is the Squiz Advanced Forms. It's a part of the experience management capability. It allows you to build, manage, govern, and involve omni-channel end-user experiences fast. Second is on the left, is the Squiz DXP integration capability. It makes quicker and easier to connect your existing systems and automate business processes for a better digital customer experience and operational efficiency. So why should service-led organizations care about advanced forms? We all know creating customizable and dynamic forms is hard and time-consuming. For example, creating forms with logic, revealing questions based on the answers provided, or forms that appear with pre-filled information about the person can be complicated to build and implement. But with advanced forms, non-tech users can create dynamic forms in minutes. I will show you how easy to build a form for delivering our use case next. So let's check out the demo. In today's demonstration, I will begin by showcasing the simplicity of using the drag and drop interface of the advanced form to create a form and seamlessly publish it on a website via Squiz DXP. Following this, we will explore a smooth workflow automation. This process initiates when an end user submits the form on the website, subsequently triggering the workflow within Flowingly. The content editor's task is to design a digital form on the console website for residents to submit waste management applications. They begin by using the Squiz local console website template and access the advanced form builder to load an existing form library for editing. First, the content editor uses drag and drop functionality of the form builder to rearrange some of the questions layout on the form. To enhance the form's functionality, the content editor adds a checkbox requiring users to confirm their property ownership. Additionally, they introduce a page break to allow a logical separation of the form. Conditional logic is configured so that only users who tick the property ownership checkbox can proceed to fill in the address details. A final security step is incorporated with the addition of a reCAPTCHA to prevent spam submissions. After these straightforward updates, the form is saved, and the content editor previews the newly published form. The fields and conditional logic function as intended. With the form now ready, it can be embedded on the console's website. The content editor accesses the Squiz Matrix CMS, edits a placeholder service page, and retrieves the embedded code from the form publishing page, which is then pasted into the code component of the page. After saving the changes and previewing the page, it is ready for publication. The embedded form is now live and accessible to users on the console website. I'm now going to demonstrate the journey from a user's perspective. I'm visiting the local console website and opening the waste management application form. I start filling the details on the form. This is a smooth and straightforward process. The form is well designed, making it easy to provide the necessary information. After submitting the form, a thank you page is promptly displayed. What the user might not be aware of is the behind-the-scenes magic. The moment the form is submitted, the integration flow is immediately activated and springs into action. On the Squiz integration execution page, the form submission undergoes a series of steps, and within a few seconds, the Flowingly workflow dedicated to handling this specific application is initiated.
So now let's jump across into Flowingly. So this is my to-do list. This is my own personal to-do list. It's not anyone else's, so I'm not going to see tasks for other people in here. This is just stuff that I need to action, and I'm specifically looking at my customer service ones here. Now I've got 3 residential waste and recycling requests sitting here. This one from Pauline Trigg, I should probably get onto that. It was due 23 hours ago, but look, I've seen Carrie's one come in here for 107 Arrowsmith Avenue, and it's a new curbside collection service. I'm going to jump in here. So I click into here, and immediately I can understand what I need to do. So I can see it's a new service. There's a few details in here. It's due in 2 days, and I need to either approve or reject this. If I need further information, I can always look through the full audit history, which will give me everything from when stuff was submitted to all of the information that was submitted, even emails that have gone back and forth to the customer. So this should give me all of the information I need in one place. If I want to see what's going to happen after I approve or reject this, I can always head across into the flow model. And what that will give me is an overview of what's happening in this process and what's going to happen next. So I can see at the start here, it started with a public user who's submitted that form, and then it's come up here and it's now in the new curbside area. If I reject it, it's going to go down this path and the customer will receive an email. If I approve it, customer will receive an email, and then it will head on to EnviroWaste. So you can easily understand what's coming next in the process. In this case, I'm just going to approve this and move it on. So this is going to go through to EnviroWaste now. And as I submit it, you can see here that it's now sitting with EnviroWaste. It's due in 12 days. If I want to give them a bit of a hurry up, I can give them a nudge here. And I have the full trail here to understand what's happened in the background as well. If I do want to have that audit trail more in depth, I can always export it as a PDF, or also, which has all of the information here, or also export all of this data as a CSV or into something like Power.
All right, so let's take a look of the integration flow demonstrated in this use case. The flow on the right side is self-explanatory, and you can observe it in the visual flow design view on the Squiz integration platform. You can effortlessly create and manage integrations to seamlessly exchange data across all your systems using our user-friendly low-code and no-code integration platform. Let me quickly expand a bit on this behind-the-scene integration capability of the Squiz DXP, which is the key to empower you to share data, automate the business process, and move faster. The DXP provides secured integration platform as a service solutions, simplify data source integrations through a centralized hub that reduces custom code. All flows that you see here listed in a grid and its integration flows within one organization's development or production environment. Each flow contains multiple steps and connectors to your ecosystem applications and is able to connect any system with an API. The platform provides pre-made automation flows, which we call them recipes. Those pre-made recipes provide a quick and easy way to get started by allowing you to implement common integration use cases with just a few clicks. You can easily activate an existing recipe for your integration that gives you the template for connecting your chosen systems so that you never need to create an integration from scratch. For example, if you build and publish another form, you can activate the form submission to flowingly map recipe and tweak the form input mapping from the template to match your new form questions. Then integration platform takes care of the rest. Next, I'll turn it over to Sean to explore the Flowingly side in more details.
Cool, thanks, Gary. And look, just to recap, because I know a lot of people won't have seen Flowingly or process automation before. So the number one thing we're looking to do with this is, and in terms of improving your customer-facing processes, is get people out of those shared inboxes and ensure that tasks are automatically routed to the right person. So with the councils we work with, something as simple as that, something as simple as getting those requests into like to-do lists, into having a clear process and a clear workflow around it, and having those SLAs typically cuts out around between about 70 and 85% of the admin time on those requests. For one of them in particular, there's a council over in Australia where their waste one, the one we just showed, it actually cut out 94% of the time that they were spending on that. So something that our council customers have taught us as well is the benefit of inserting SOPs and policy documents straight into their actual forms, so their internal forms that their employees are using. And by doing that, they eliminate the need to have like separate, disparate process documentation and other systems, because it's all actually housed within the automated processes within Flowingly as well. And for some people, for certain business units in particular, it will be really important just having that audit trail and showing the who, the what, the how, when, etc. of all of these transactions as well. I think I'll hand it back to Carrie as well to take us through the rest of the flow there.
Thanks. So we just talked about improving citizen digital experiences by these powerful integrated solutions between Squiz DXP and Flowingly. Furthermore, this integrated solution opens up significant possibilities for expanding the use case within local consoles, enabling further automation. This includes functionalities like updating and exchanging records between CRMs, logging requests in case management systems, and delivering timely notifications to keep the customer informed and engaged throughout the entire process. I think that's conclude the demonstration of today. So if you have any questions, please put that into the questions box. And if you want to get more information, please scan it, then we can follow up with you after the session.
So if you do have some questions, now's a good time to ask. So pop them in the questions area, and I will relay them to the panel, and see how we go. So I do have a question to start. Well, I actually learned a great equation: CX plus EX plus PX equals TXM. So that was the total experience management. So that's something really worthwhile. But I wondered if you already have an existing form solution, could you migrate all of your current forms to, say, a Squiz Advanced Forms? How easy would that actually be?
Yeah, I can address this question. Thanks. This is a great question because, yeah, you have so many different technologies to choose these days, and everyone has very different opinions. So we do have customers which are already using other form providers and then see, oh, because it's provided from the DXP, it's actually integrated better within the technologies around you. So how we migrate. And I think you already seen a bit of advanced form interface, which actually is a drag and drop, pretty intuitive interface for non-technical users to play around with the layout and adding fields really easily. You can even build multi-pages and conditional logic on the form. And so to migrate that, usually you take either you just lift and shift while recreate the forms, or we can talk to our services people, which has the migration tools to export it into a more technical term like XML and then import it in there. So there's different pathway you can do that. But at the same time, we encourage, because the Squiz DXP is come as you are, you can also bring your own technologies to integrate it with some of the capabilities on the DXP to fully leverage what you already have within your tech landscape. Hope that addressed the question. Thanks.
Well, thank you. Last night, my wife was trying to fill out a form for the Ministry of Justice. It's a jury service in New Zealand, and she just wanted to use a mobile phone, and you couldn't actually easily do that to upload attachments. We had to put some evidence in there. So can I use my phone camera to upload attachments when completing a form via a smartphone or some mobile device?
Yeah, I'll address that as well. So as it's called advanced form, it actually supports omni channels, regardless it's a desktop or iPad or mobile phones, it works seamlessly as the same. So when you build once and you publish the form, you can use your mobile phone to access your camera and a photo album or file storage and upload the file from your phone with no issue at all. Thanks.
I might jump in there just, Mike, before you jump on as well. So same goes within Flowingly as well. We have a lot of, I used EnviroWaste earlier, but we work with a lot of waste management firms. Of course, their guys are on their phone or on their tablet. They have to register a lot of things while they're going in their truck. So if they come across, say, a car parked in front of a skip bin, that's how they do it. It's all on the phone for them as well.
Oh, fantastic. As ALGIM's recently a new user to Flowingly, I am amazed at the functionality that I've found inside it, and the ability for me to approve things and do things has got my team very, very excited. So it's a great product. I don't know, some areas in New Zealand, like I live out in the countryside, and sometimes the old internet connectivity wanes a little bit. And if you're in the middle of doing a form, is there any sort of temporary capability that could mean that you don't lose everything until it reconnects?
Yeah, so you can actually auto-save the unfinished form and while pick it up to connectivity again, then resume your process. So in this way, and it's a combination of the form design and implementation. You may want to add page break and conditional logic as showing in the demonstrations to actually make sure the user can take step-by-steps and auto-save process if you have a longer form. Then just in case in some remote areas the internet is a bit flaky, then make sure they don't lose the input and come back to continue the process.
And one of the really frustrating things is filling out. If you've got to fill out a lot of forms, you've got to keep putting your details in, you know, your name, address, and everything. Is there any way of pre-filling that out? If you could have some sort of authentication, is there something we could do there that would make it easy?
Yeah, definitely. So the pre-filled form capabilities on the DXP, it's not only just you working with a form, you may have some of the user informations like first name, last name, address details kept, and with the user consent, you are able to pre-fill for them. So you don't just blindly fill the details for the user if they don't agree that approach. And but with the DXP, we have customer data platform and other type of insight services, which is capable if customer consent saying, I filled the form in the past where I want to use the details for future form submissions. Can you actually using your technology to pre-fill the form while I started a new process? So that's definitely it's a feature like we are very proud of supporting it.
Oh, that sounds really good. Please, if you've got questions, pop them in the question area. But I have one around, CSS. Can you style using CSS so a form creator doesn't need to repeat those style steps all the time? So is there an easy way to do this?
Yeah, so a part I didn't show but mentioned, we have a form library where you can have all the form template which tailored to suit your brand in those libraries. Then if you have many content teams involved to create forms, you can simply pick the form template from the library which already have a CSS styling tailored for your brand. Then you only need to maintain that branding and you can use the same CSS stylings to publish your form to multiple websites.
Oh, that sounds good. Local government obviously is governed under the Privacy Act. Well, everyone is really. And what security measures would you have in place that could protect that sensitive customer data collected using your advanced form program?
So start of all, the Squiz DXP platform have a very strict security layers which protect the platform to exchange data, especially some of the PII, personal individual, like those privacy informations. And all the form submissions go through the network is encrypted in REST. Then we make sure how the form is stored is also protected. And we also complying with different regional privacy rules when we use the data as the sub-process of our customer, which we provide the form building platform. We will also suggested our customer to comply with those privacy rules and make sure we get the end user's consent before they sharing their informations on the platform to make sure all the customer data is secured on the platform.
Oh, thank you. we all are accountable. So how about analytics? What have you got in terms of analysis and reporting that people who implement the solution could actually be able to show how well it's doing?
So overall, on the Squiz DXP, we have metric systems which provide reporting and dashboards for all the capabilities on the platform. So you see those logs and the metrics reports in a single place on the DXP console. For the form itself, like within your each form instance, each organization is going to see the reporting on dashboard to show how many forms you have been published and how many submissions, and then you can generate a report or download, export it to some other analytics platform to see the performance of the form.
From a Flowingly perspective and process automation, it's commonly exported to Power BI. Typically, the councils we're working with, that's their system of analytics.
Yes.
So yeah, just there's a connector that goes straight across to there, so you can build dashboards out to understand where the common bottlenecks are in your processes, where things are getting held up, where you need to improve as well.
So at the upcoming ALGIM conference, we're bringing a futurist in to tell us what the future holds for us all. But what's the future hold for your Squiz forms, advanced forms, I should say?
I think we should encourage more users to build their forms and using the advanced form, and then be able to support like more dynamic digital forms on the website. We know a lot of customers still handling paper forms. So from advanced form perspective, we want to provide a better migration tools like scan the PDF and import it to generate the form from those paper forms to facilitate the migration of this process. So we want to make the digital as like an enablement to streamline the process, instead of they need to care about how to use the technology and to learn to use the tool. Instead of they should enjoy how to use the tools to create digital experiences without really have a huge learning curve of adopting using the tools.
So can I add something there? So you talked about you have a futurist and what's the future for advanced forms, but I think it's also looking at like what's the future for your technology platforms in general. So we've been in this environment in the last like 10-15 years where people either have like these niche set of tools that they sort of spaghetti migration together, everything. We've all seen it where you've got square, box, round, hole, and you keep adding things on top. And that's where people go niche, and they go different departments add different pieces of systems, etc. together, and then you've got your sort of like all-in-one solutions that promise everything, but then when you end up getting them in, you end up needing to have a lot of developers to be able to get it all working perfectly together. And I think one of the big things with Squiz and Flowingly and various different organizations such as that is that we offer a composable solution. So we actually say, like, come as you are. So if you've got the tool in place, don't rip out and replace. Like, we'll work with you, and especially in advanced forms is one of the capabilities that we do. But we'll work with you and go, okay, what is it that you're needing right now? What are the steps of where you need to get to? We're not telling you to scrap everything. And it's really thinking about what's a composable solution that can help grow with you. And actually, even though you might have different solutions as part of it, it all works as one. So you're basically getting the best of both worlds. And I think that is really important, because we all work in lean teams. We don't really necessarily want a developer every time we need to create a form or we need to create a web page. And so it's enabling self-service as much as possible without really hammering your teams every time that you need to do a big project like that.
Yeah,
thanks.
And just to add to that, MC, like we're Apple, Amazon, Uber, etc., kind of taking that customer experience, that digital experience. That's what people are starting to expect from their corporate technology, and that's really the future for us is being able to deliver those kind of experiences where, I get a text. I get a text when a courier arrives at my door, right? Like simple stuff. Like if you order a pizza now, you get that call before the pizza arrives. Like, I'm just admitting that I order pizza quite regularly, but like that's the kind of thing we're trying to bring through to the corporate experience as well. Like MC described a situation earlier just about her renovation and how hard that is. It's not actually that hard to take it from that to the situation where you get automated notifications and you can track your requests. So it's you know, that's where we're kind of trying to take this, and that's where this partnership between Flowingly and Squiz came up as well.
Just advancing on from that, one of the things that ALGIM is doing and wants to do a lot of in the next few years is standardizing the processes of local governments. So working with local authorities to see if we can agree on, starting with the front end, could we standardize as much as possible, working through the back end. Would your solution, to me, it looks like it could enable or help along that journey as well if councils did take up sort of the Squiz and the Flowingly sort of integration as well. That would sort of be a major step. Can they share? I think you did mention, Kerry, that you could share the template so that there's not a reinvention every time. If we could all agree on it, this is a standard process, and get all the vendors to actually acknowledge that that's what local government in New Zealand needs for that particular process.
Yeah,
Any comments
exactly.
about that?
Yeah, I think we build on a vision like everything is reusable and follow the best practice. So if there's a standardized process and we find the common pattern, we will make that as a template. So not only form has a template, integrations has template as well. And then, but we also understand these templates are really great start point for you to get everything jointed. But if you do have extra customizations on your form, for example, I want to swap this field with the others, and then you also allowed you to do that really quickly based on the template. So also the locals console website, I show a bit of interface, is another CMS website template designed for local gov. So we have a lot of those reusable components on the DXP, which enable our customer to move faster.
It sounds really good. And I guess everything's going to be about integrating into other, like the ERP systems, of which there's about half a dozen, 5 to 6 in New Zealand in use. So integrating into Tech One, Civica, Datacom, all those. Any thoughts about how we'd integrate to all and connect to all these different customer systems that are out there?
Yeah, so that's my very proud product, integration platform as services. So that's a platform. It's actually a tool. It has hundreds of branded connectors, so CRMs, ERPs, commerce, database, and then also because it's an iPaaS, then it's actually have a lot of common like generic component. For example, if any REST applications has REST APIs, we can use the generic REST component to build integrations with no issues. So there's the integrations is we understand it's a tool for you to connect all your ecosystems regardless it's all fresh new cloud applications or you have a legacy system which your developer actually built some of the APIs to exchange data or interact with your database straight away, like that integration capabilities on the DXP is capable of doing that.
That sounds good. So one of the things I wanted to ask, bit of an echo there. What sort of files can be uploaded into forms? Do you have any restrictions on size or something else?
Yeah, the file has like it's a kind of a soft cap. So all the services on DXP is usage based. Yes. We will recommend a best practice on how large the file size is, where you can define in your form submission. And then if you do need to interact with large file exchange, then we will recommend you to actually think about our digital asset management services on the DXP, which is another capability seamlessly working on it, deal with the file system for large file transmission.
And is there a limitation on file size at all?
Yeah, so we recommend you don't exchange file for upload like a 10 megabyte. That's the best practice. But if you do have files which larger or even video type of files, then we're using the other file system to handle that. Then it will be kept in 40 gigabyte, something like that from top of my, yeah, head. I have to go back to check. It's all in our help center documentation for those.
That's fine. So it looks like a really good, I was going to say a marriage between Squiz and Flowingly. It looks really good to be able to complete the sort of the circle of the life cycle of a customer request right through. Make sure that some of the work that we've been doing in ALGIM, we've found that some local authorities, if you send information in, they forget to send something back. And so I think that's where Flowingly would make a great advantage to being able to keep the customer informed along the journey, because without it, there's a black hole, and the cost of them ringing up to check what happens is a cost on the resources of the council. So yeah, there's a whole lot to this equation and this journey.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
I talked to a council a little while ago where they said that their customer service team felt like the updates team, because they're getting calls from residents saying, where's this at? And often they're actioning it, but they haven't told the resident that it's being actioned. So then they're handling those calls and it's just creating more work.
Yeah, and with the lean resources that we've got, you can't tie your contact center up.
Yep.
Being an update center, then you're in trouble. So if you have any last questions for us, I'm happy to ask the team. But if not, if any final words, Mary Claire, before we finish.
I actually have a question myself, being a marketer and being a consumer of these the actual products itself. Just be really interested to know, like, what kind of technical skills would you need to set up the Squiz forms and Flowingly workflow? Like, would it be someone in my team that would be able to do it? Would I need a developer? Like, how would that work?
So it would be like MC, you'd be easily able to do it yourself, or anyone in your team, any marketer definitely. But we have people at organisations who have, we've got Upper Hutt City Council. It was one of the rates officers who started working with Flowingly. So it wasn't even in any of the ops or HR or any of those spaces. It was the rates team that picked it up and ran with it and built their own processes. Because the benefit of that is there's no one who can build their processes better than the person who actually knows the process. So that's why it's really important to have those tools. Otherwise, you get that communication breakdown between the teams and the IT, because they just don't know each other's or IT doesn't know the process and the team doesn't know the technology. So instead, you put the technology in the hands of the people who know the process, and that's why it's really important to have it no code, have it really easy to use.
Yeah, I think both the technology provide a visual building tools which really facilitate the business people in the organization to actually just focusing on the design and the process, how to optimize instead of spend too much time to work out how I build a form, how I arrange those fields. So yeah, that's our goal. I think I also really like the Flowingly those mapping library, where you can actually get from a template, don't start from scratch, and just make few tweaks and then off you go. Same with the form. Like I think we built for the user like you, Mary Claire, and then to deliver the outcome faster.
Yeah, we have had challenges, not with our technology, but with many of these forms in the past. So it's exciting when I get to see this working in action. For anyone who would like a copy of our slides today, if you scan the QR code, then we can actually send a full copy of the slides and the video to you. And if you have any questions at all, please feel free to contact any of us. The QR code takes you to a page that has our details, but also you can quite simply just email ask@squiz.net and we'll get back to you. Thank you so much to Mike and all the ALGIM team.
And thank you to you, Mary Claire, and to Kerry and to Sean. We look forward. A word sprung in my head splendidly from all, putting it all together. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike, and looking forward to ALGIM conference next month as well.
It's going to be great. Thank you.
Yeah.